My name's Kaila Krack, and it says a story of family, but it's also a story of the future in diving, the future generation in diving, and saying yes to opportunities when they come to you. So, first off, these are my parents. That's my mom, Mandy Ray, and that's my dad, Kurt Kroc. My mom is a 7-time world record holder in the sport of freediving, and she's in the Women Divers Hall of Fame. My dad, Kurt Kroc, he teaches people in freediving and how to push past what they thought was possible for their breath holding and whatever it is they're working on. He's trained multiple people to world records, including my mom, and he's working with Deep right now. Before I get started, I want to ask, who in here is a parent? Put up your hand. Okay, nice. So please listen. I'm a water baby. I mean, with my parents, it was going to happen anyway. People always joke that they'd think I'd grow up and marry a farmer to get as far away from water as I can. Don't think that's going to happen. They started me in water right away. When I was a little baby, it was the Swim to Survive courses where you start in a diaper and they push you in and you have to try and right yourself, and then slowly you get more and more clothes on until you're in like full winter clothes and they just hope you don't drown. They don't even let parents go to the last one because they think they're going to freak out too much. When I was really little, well, so I've heard, I don't remember. I was walking around, I always had this life jacket that my parents would take a little bit more air out of. And one day I was watching the older kids swim, and so I swam out, climbed up onto the deck, ripped it off, jumped in. I've never wanted to use a life jacket since. Okay, this video is me being a test dummy for breath hold survival training. I'm 4 in this video.
2, 3, 4, 5.
The lifeguards don't like us at the pool, but it's okay, now I'm friends with them. So, my diving started really young with freediving, but it's evolved and I've done a lot of different water-based sports. The first picture over there you'll see, that is my first time breathing off of a regulator. First time on a scuba tank or anything. It's my friend Daniela up in the corner. We're in the Cayman Islands. She just got certified and came back. We're in the shallow end. She's like, "Do you want to breathe off it?" Yes. So my mom was sitting up on the side. Obviously, she took the picture. And it was so fun. And that's kind of what got me thinking about this presentation is what's gotten me to this point is saying yes, which is what I want the parents to listen to. And then my friend, my best friend, she was in swim club and she asked me if I wanted to go and do the Bring a Friend Day for swim club. I said yes, I went. And I've been doing it ever since. I think I'm at 9 years in speed swimming so far. Because of speed swimming, I've gotten to go to tons of competitions. Every time they offered me to go to one, I said yes. I went to all of them, almost every single weekend when I was little, which gave me the opportunity to meet amazing friends and go all over where I live and the areas around it. And then kids comp. So in Cayman, every year, my parents would hold Deja Blue. And there's, as it went on, the competitors started to have more kids, so there's more of us just sitting around on the boat all day. And so we were like, we need something to do. So the parents came up, and some of the kids, with the idea of Kids Comp. So Kids Comp was like a way to get kids in the water and understanding what their parents are doing so they can have a love for it themselves. So for Kids Comp, we'd have, depth, we'd have distance, we'd have static apnea, we'd have the tumbling you saw, where one parent would just stand there and flip the kid around as much as they could until they sprawled out. And it was just a great opportunity for the kids because it gave them something to do, and it was their way of starting their own passion for the water. So I am now a diver for Scuba, as well. I started when I was 13 in scuba. I got my open water, and since then I've done my advanced, my nitrox, and my dry suit, because where I live it's so cold you'd freeze immediately without a dry suit. My favorite thing about diving, though, is being able to go with my parents, because it's such a great thing to share with the people you love, being down there and like seeing all the amazing things. It's like being in another world. Although I did not always think that. When I was little, because I started off on boats way out in the water, super deep. And so it was never little fish. And then when I was little, my dad said that little fish would come up and eat the dead skin off your feet. Or if they thought you had food in your hands, they'd nip at your fingers. Terrified me. My mom and I once, we went on this thing where they put a dome over your head and you're breathing underwater like that. And this guy brought out a bunch of fish food. I lost it. I was in the fetal position. I was sobbing. I was holding onto my mom's leg. And then I got out after and I was like, I thanked the guy. I was like, thank you, that was so fun. I didn't have fun, that's just the Canadian in me. But looking back at it, it was amazing. Another one things, when I was little, I was at the hospital once, and I saw these people who had just had urchin spikes in them. And so I thought, urchins swim after you? I was scared. My mom tried to get me in the water once to go swimming off this little bay that had a bunch of urchins. I was terrified. I still went in, but I was like scrambling on top of her the entire time. And when we got out, she asked me, and I was like, I'm scared they're gonna swim after me. Well, now I know they don't swim after you, thankfully, but I love sharks. I would see 10-foot tiger sharks in Hawaii, and I'd try to swim down to them and chase them, but little fish, no. Like, don't even come near me, I'll scream like I'm being chased by a murderer. And when I was little, really, really little, in preschool, the teachers told me that sharks were bad, they attacked people, all this and that, and I believed them. And my mom and dad tried to tell me, they're like, no, they don't attack people, they're nice, they're sharks. I didn't believe them, so I was like, what? No, that's what my teacher said. Then a little while later, I learned, through being in the water with them and being with my parents and all these other people who studied them and was working to protect them, I learned that, no, they're good, right? And so now, every time someone says something bad about sharks, I'm the kid in class that keeps it going for an hour defending them. Thanks to what my parents have done and all the things that they've said yes to doing, I've been able to meet amazing people. I've been able to meet researchers, Olympians, people who are at the top of their sport. Right here in the middle, it's a picture of me with two figure skaters, Olympian figure skaters. And we were there because my mom and dad were teaching a course for Olympians to hold their breath, to push what they thought was possible so they could become better and exceed at their own sport. And here, it's Family Day on Avatar. And one of the funny stories about the Family Day, they broke you up into a bunch of these little groups because, there's a lot of people working on that movie. And so we're in this little group of 15, maybe 20 people, and we're at this big tank where they have a wave machine. And so they give me a microphone, and they're like, say 3, 2, 1, and they'll do the waves. I wouldn't say it. I was so nervous to be speaking in front of like 20-ish people, most of them I knew, that I wouldn't say it, and I was trying to hide behind my mom, behind my dad, behind whoever would block me from the person with the microphone. But now look at me now, I can talk in front of you guys, so thank you. So speaking of Avatar, my dad worked on Avatar. He started in 2016, and this is the picture of us at the premiere in 2023 with John Garvin, who also worked on Avatar. And this is me on the day I got to go in and do my fitting to be a double for Trinity, who played Took. That day was so fun. They showed me so much stuff I thought I was going to get to keep. They let me keep none of it. My mom and I were heartbroken. Being on Avatar, I met so many people. My dad and all his coworkers and all their kids that all had this love for water just like me. It was amazing to see, like, there are other people like me. So many people like being in the water. It was like a second family. My dad, on the other hand, he got to look up a guy's loincloth for like 10 hours a day. He still says he had fun though. So that's him right there if you can't see. This is Trinity, who I got to double for. She was so nice. The day I was on set, it was 8 hours of homework in wetsuits and then running around to craft food services and taking all the food with us. We started singing so loud on set that day, I don't know how we didn't get yelled at. It's incredible, really. I think it was all because of her, they didn't want to make the star mad. My dad, what he did on Avatar is he trained people who had never been in water before or just weren't very comfortable, and he got their breath hold. He got it so they could hold their breath and do all their scenes underwater because James Cameron wanted it to be authentic. Not where you're on land, but there's wind blowing in your hair and they're calling it swimming. You're actually swimming. And so my dad, because he's so good at his job, he was able to make it so they look like naturals in the water when some of them were too scared to get their hair wet. One of the things I love so much about Avatar is even though it's based in a reality that's a bit different, it still shows the wonders of the underwater world. And I think that's something that really helps people my age and younger or older understand that it's a really amazing place down there and that, like, hey, maybe I should go down there too. And talking to some of my friends was awesome because after it was like, oh, so you can actually go down, you can breathe under there. I babysit this little girl, and she's convinced I'm a mermaid because I told her I can go underwater and still breathe. I feel very good every time she calls me a mermaid. And one of the things I like about where I go to school is we get the opportunity to do Discover Scuba courses. Most teachers don't, but there are some that do. And I think that's one of the opportunities that you have to say yes to. And I understand that it's a pricey thing to do, but you get the opportunity, you take it, just like any other, because you don't know where it'll take you. And these two are really big advocates in the movie for just the health of the underwater world in general. Okay, and a little side story. That's Kate Winslet there. I went to her house once in Vancouver. And she made me belly water. For the longest time, I thought this was some special water. It was just really cold water you could feel go all the way down. But I was convinced she was like a witch or something. This is a video of my dad training Kate Winslet. So this is what it would look like on set on Avatar. So these breath holds would be several minutes long, most of them with mixes so they can stay under longer. And it just really shows, like, you may not be comfortable in the water at first, but it's natural for humans to be in the water. It's something that we all have the capability and we're all able to do. Okay. So with that, it's also good that we preserve the underwater world. And when you get the opportunity to go under, you get the opportunity and you say yes, you see what it's like down there. You see the beauty and how intricate it all is. And I think if more people my age were able to see that, if they had the opportunities, if their parents were able to give them that opportunity or gave them the mindset to just say yes when they get opportunities like that, there'd be so much more of us. There'd be way more divers because they'd be able to see amazing things. Obviously, this is a picture from Avatar. It's not a real creature. But still, it's beautiful and it's a water animal. So if we could get more stuff like that, there'd be so many more people out there to help protect the underwater world, which is what we need. And speaking of my dad, he's working with Deep right now, which is making underwater habitats, which is going to be the future in diving and what most people from my generation are going to be doing in the underwater world. They're going to be researchers living in these amazing underwater habitats, and they're going to be able to spend so much more time down there, and because of that, they're going to be able to get so many more, they're going to be able to get so much more information about the underwater world to help protect it and to help it thrive. So I've been lucky enough to be able to go to both the Deep headquarters. I've gone to the one in the UK where I got to go into like subs and everything, and it was so cool. I got to look around at like the metal 3D printer. It was awesome. And I got to look around in the Florida one where they actually had one of the smaller ones like partially made, so I got to walk inside it. It's awesome to think that one day these will be underwater and people will be living out of them to research. Also in Florida, I was able to go to the university there for marine sciences and look around at all the amazing work that all these scientists were doing, whether it was coral restoration or helping with sharks or the movement of water in the ocean. It was amazing to look at their research areas and all of that because that's what I want to do. That's what I want more people of my generation to want to do, and the only way we're going to be able to have those people is if they see what it could be underwater, what it's like, and what they need to fight for. So, that's my presentation.